All right, we are here in the sound booth. You can see there's the door, computer, the soundboard, and then there's this lovely computer right there. Right now it is a Google Chromebook, although that may change. We do have a few Macs sitting around here which might be a little bit more powerful for some of our purposes, but for now this is what we're using. And when you come here on a Sunday morning, a couple things that you're going to want to do to make sure of before you get started. The first thing is that if this soundboard isn't on, which it probably will be because the sound people will be here more than likely before you, but if it is not on, you need to go underneath the cupboard here and you see that there's this little switch. And so we're going to switch it on. You can hear everything start firing up. You'll see that the soundboard is on. You see all the lights on, and everything else that's plugged in is now running. All these lights have turned on, so you can see that we have juice and we're ready to go. And the next thing that you are going to want to look for is to make sure that the computer is plugged in. This will help ensure that the computer will not die during a live stream. So we want to make sure that the power is on, and if we were to snake it all the way around here, we can see that the power thing is here. You want to make sure that that is nice and snug in there. And then the second thing that you want to check is to see if this little thing is plugged into the other side. And when you snake it up, you see that it's this little hub here, and it should have two things plugged in via USB. This one right here is the sound, which is connected into this little doohickey, which you don't need to know a whole lot about that per se. Some of these things have to do with the sound and all that. But anyway, this one right here is the sound. This one right here is the video that is connected to the camera. The camera is located right there, and you can see right now that it's pointing toward us. I'll explain that why that is here in just a moment. But all the power is on, and make sure that that it looks like all three of these things are hooked up. Two quick notes that you're going to want to be aware of is, remember that these headphones right here that are connected you'll be able to hear everything that is going through on the live stream. So you put those on, you're going to hear everything. And also make sure that you know where this remote is, because it is this remote that is going to move that camera to the right and to the left. So make sure that the remote is there. And then the last thing that you need to do then is just simply open up the computer, and then you'll see the computer might take a second or two to fire up, but there you go. And now we are ready to live stream. All right, now assuming that you have checked everything, that everything is plugged in, the camera, the sound, the power to the computer, then you're ready to open it up, and you're going to come to a main screen that that looks like this, and you're going to want to make sure that you open up the Chrome. Then you want to go to the website that the live stream is on. You can either find it here or you can find it up here. It's just the only bookmark that we have in this particular Chrome browser, and you want to do Chrome because it's going to be the most stable for that sort of restream. So we're going to click on here. Now, after you do that, you may or may not get a screen that asks you to log in. And if that happens, there's going to be an option to either use a username or a password, and you can find that right here on the wall of the sound booth, right next to the computer. Or if you just click in or click on the logo of our church, and then you'll see the email address as ebcmoralresources@gmail.com. If you click on that, it should go right in. But again, by default, we have the login and credentials right to the left of the computer. And then once you sign in, you're going to find a screen like this. Now, there's two ways that you are going to see a Sunday morning stream. And the first is you're going to see something called an upcoming event, and we'll talk about how to make an event and schedule an event later. But for now, you will just end up scrolling down, and you'll see this upcoming event. That means everything is set up for the live stream for you, pretty much just to click in and go and start. So with that, you will want to enter the studio. So we're going to click there. You see that it's coming up here. And then you see me, so I'm going to say, hey, how is it going? This obviously is not the camera that we want. So we are going to click that little cog and we're going to see video. Under video input, you want USB video, and immediately you'll see, again, hello camera. When the power turns off, the camera will recalibrate, and then it will point to the left. And the reason that it's pointed to the left is because the front of the camera is pointing this way. So you will take your trusty remote. Let me turn on a couple of lights here. You'll turn on, you'll move the camera with this trusty little remote, and so I'm going to do that right now. And you can get it to wherever you're going to want it for the service. For this example, we're just going to put this like that, just so you can see what it looks like. Then we're going to make sure that we go audio. And when you do audio, you're going to click on this. You have to make sure that it is the one that says codec. So the USB audio codec. It's obviously not the one that I'm using right now, the PNP audio device. That's only what I'm using for this training. That won't even be an option when you click in there. You need to make sure that you do the codec, because that's the only one that's hooked up to the sound system, and your life will be much easier. So as you're watching this, pretend the codec is in this audio input and not the PNP. And you can see as I'm talking here, you can see that the green bar is moving when I am making some sound. If you are in the codec, you should see that green bar moving as it is now. When someone plays their instrument and it's on in the soundboard, or someone speaks into a microphone and it's on in the soundboard. If you don't see it, you need to adjust some things. And so make sure that the sound person has one of those on, so that you can verify that the sound is working. So now that we've got that all set, I just pushed X. You'll enter into the studio and say that it's joining. Here is the main overlay of what we do. I'm going to go through all of these different areas and show you what it is that we do and how we do it. So over here to the left, you're going to see our sanctuary there, and you can see the microphone moving. So as I stop and I start, the sound is active and live. Okay, this section over here is all about displays. This is one display, or we want to say a camera. In a second, we'll add another one, and there could be subsequent ones depending on what you will do. This middle part is what the people are going to see on the live stream. So if you ever have a question as far as what is being live streamed, this is what's going to show it. You could always full screen it, but that's really not helpful for some of the things that you may need to do, or maybe it might be, depending on how you go about it. You can see that we haven't gone live yet, so I'm just kind of showing you that there. Let's see now. Over here we have this section here. This QR code thing, don't even worry about that. That is not something that we're ever going to use during a service as far as now goes, unless we have some sort of special event that we want people to have a call to action to. I'll just show you what it does. You can see it's got the QR code up there, or there's a bar down there, or there's a lot of different ways to do it, and then the classic look versus compact. But again, you will not need to worry about that. I'm going to jump over to the chat here just a second. Chat, anytime someone makes a comment on, especially YouTube, I'm not so sure about Facebook, but anytime someone makes a comment there, it will show up in this chat. So you'll see like a number or a dot up here. And then you can see, someone will say like, well, Steve is watching, or Bill is watching, or whatever. That's basically what people comment on. We do not comment back on Sunday mornings for the most part. because there's really no need to. And this is, it's not really an interactive thing on that, but you know, it would be helpful if we were using it for other reasons. You can see this chat overlay thing. If I were to click that, that would mean that all the chat comments would come up here live on the screen. You can obviously see that and there's no purpose for that in a worship service. So don't worry about the chat overlay. Captions. You may use captions every so often, and it, probably not though, but I'll just show you what they sort of are. So like here's a lower third one that we've adopted. This is when I was making an Exploring a Manual training kit or training video, and so that's still on there, and you can see how it comes in the left. This do your part, show the support of Ukraine is that's a default that comes from Restream, which is the service we use. In fact, since we're never going to use it, I'm going to go ahead and delete it. You can see what a ticker is. So if I were to click this, you would see the bottom saying that the live stream will begin shortly. Here's just one that I was playing around with. Partner with us, text give to that, or you know, you can download one of the resources that we had at one point. Again, you are probably not going to use this during a worship service unless there's something special that we direct that to happen. Now, graphics is where you are going to probably use more than way more than the other ones. You can see the brand settings. That's just how you want some of these captions to display. You're not going to need to worry about that. So primary color, don't worry. Now the logo, that is if you want to have a brand of Emmanuel up here. So for example, we have the three trees right there. If I were to click on that, you'd see that that would be the overlay. So they would see that at the top right of their screen, or you would have the full logo right there at the very top. This one here, it just shifts it down a little bit. I should actually probably just get rid of that one if I'm able to. In fact, I will. Whoops. Oh boy, I got to find that logo again, but I'll make sure that that gets on there. This one here is black. So yeah, you know, it could work with the lighter background, although the white's going to be just a little bit sharper. So I'm going to go ahead and take that off before I accidentally delete it. That one too, if you don't see the tree on there, that means I didn't get to it before a certain amount of time. That's not really a worry. Overlay, it's not something we're going to use either. So if I just click on that, that is just something that is going to show up over the screen. You can see that there's Romans 8:1 there. You can see this Ukraine border, which I'm not sure why they have so many Ukraine things here. Stand with Ukraine, and we have other things, obviously, that we're not going to use for our service. Video clips is what we are going to use. If we are just starting our live stream, and for the folks at home before we get set up, instead of watching everybody walking into the sanctuary and getting set up for the Sunday morning, you would want to hit something called the slideshow. Now it might have a date. It might say June 5th slideshow, or it might say January 12th slideshow, or whatever. If there's a date, make sure that it lines up with whatever date is on for the Sunday that you are doing the live stream. But for the most part, especially during the summer of 2023, when I am on a sabbatical, this slideshow is primarily what it's going to be using. So, for example, let me just go live here, and then I'll show you what you would do as soon as you go live. So let's click show, and then that will start the slideshow. I'm going to go live. So right now on our dummy accounts, we have two dummy accounts. We have one made-up guy named Bill Hildegard, and also a YouTube channel that is really just for testing and some other things. But as you can see, you know, it tells you that you're live. If people are watching, it will show you how many people are watching. This little mic here says that your mic is muted while this video clip is playing. So we're going to end the stream here. So hopefully you heard everything that I just said there, because when I clicked go live, it may have just cut out all of my mic, and so I apologize for that. Kind of doing things here on the fly. But yeah, that's what you would do, is you would click that at the beginning of it and go ahead and click um, go live. And then at the end of the service, you'll see this thing called thank you. And I'm just going to push it just for a second here. So basically what's happening here is it's just a thank you. It'll run through some slides of saying thanks for coming. If you enjoyed the show, come and join us live. Also, if you feel like you want to partner with us, go to this website or call this number, and we'll get you hooked up. Now, occasionally there might be something that happens while you're doing a live stream that you're not sure what to do. Something's gone wrong technically, the sound isn't working, the video is not working, and you're sort of panicking. Well, this here is the panic button, and I'll just show you what it does here. You can see that that was about a 6-minute video of just walking through the trees, saying that we'll be back shortly, and then while that's going, that's all that they're going to see, that's all that they're going to hear. And so meanwhile, during that, you can be fixing whatever's going on. You will want to do that if there's a medical condition. So like say someone has a stroke or a heart attack or passes out or something in the service, you will want to click that if I have to stop preaching for it. That way we can give that person some privacy, and yeah, it just makes it an easier viewing experience. If obviously the chances of this happening are small, but we live in a crazy world. If by chance there is a person that comes in here that is disruptive and possibly violent, do not do the panic button, because we want sort of that video footage to be accessible for potential criminal reporting or whatever it is. And so if there's a security issue, do not go to the panic button. So over here now, we're going to come back to the camera or the displays. Really, the only other thing that you're going to use for a Sunday morning service is found here in this little plus. These are the additions that you can do. Background music, don't worry about. I don't even know what an RTMP source is. Local video, that is if you are going to show a video that's on the computer rather than on the cloud. It's helpful for if we were to show a video in the service. Video storage, we don't have much storage in a Restream thing, so you'll never do that. But what you will probably do is presentations. At some point, if we get an extra camera, we'll throw that in there, but for the most part, you're going to click presentations. The person that is preaching may have put a PDF in here, or a PDF may have come in here from them. That will be their PowerPoint slide. Now, if there's a guest preacher, you may not have any sort of PDF PowerPoint that goes in here. So on that, you'll just have to just not have one on the live stream. It's not the end of the world. But in order to get that on, you want to click present. And now we have two different displays. One is on and one is off. You can tell that it's on because of this little thing here. If I click it, there's nothing coming in. If I click that, you see that both of them are on. Now, one of them has taken precedence, hasn't it? This here, the summit, Romans 8:12 through 17, has taken the prominent role. And so if we are in the beginning of a service and you don't want that yet because it is singing time, then what you could either do is you could either shut this down and make it only for that, or if you want to keep those up just to make it easy, all you need to do is click on this little arrow here, which is maximize. And so then that will bring everything up there. Now when the person starts preaching, you can unmaximize it, and that can come up here. You can switch these two by simply dragging and dropping. Okay, so if someone's saying, you know, this point number one, blah, 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 and then they need a graphic up there, boom, you just drag and drop. So there you go with that. Now, when someone is preaching, the unfortunate part of this is that you aren't going to be able to see a slide ahead. So what you're going to end up doing is sort of watching what the computer person of the a projector up front is doing. If they move a slide, you move a slide. If they go to a slide that you don't have next, then you forward or back until you can find that matching slide. So for example, I will click the forward button and it loads up to the text. I'm going to click it again. And, you know, if you wanted to full screen this and get rid of that, you certainly can. So that's how you would go through this. So you see on this one, put your sin to death. That's point number one. So that's how you would do that. Now, these things down here you don't necessarily have to worry about, because a lot of that is for if you have multiple cameras. So let's say we have 4 or 5 of these. So let me just add an extra camera here. I'm going to take this and I'm going to add my front camera. I'm going to show you my my grill here just so it's not too weird, but I'm going to add that camera. So right now we have 3 cameras. You can see 1, 2, 3. If you want to switch me out, hey, there I am right there. Or if you want to do that, we'll switch that out. So really what these do down here is that these switch it out. So if I click on that, you're going to see all 3 of us on here. If I do that, it's going to be a little different view. And I believe you can swap these out to however you want it to be swapped out. If you do this, it's all down here. Again, you're probably not going to need this for a Sunday morning. This would be more like a Zoom type look. For the most part, this is what you will have, especially without that. These 2 buttons here, you're not going to need to worry about. This is if you were primarily live streaming to people with a television or a desktop, or if they landscape their phone, or if they want to have their phone up, you could do it like this, which obviously you can see that this is not helpful in that sort of way. So we always want to keep it in this wide screen here. So that is basically the gist of everything. And now in the next portion, I'm going to show you how to set up a live stream. And then before we move on to that, though, you can see that right now, since I've already left, since I've already ended the stream, make sure you click end stream, and then it will upload up into the cloud, and then we'll put all that on the internets sometime in the next couple days. If by chance you need to edit the event in the way that it is presented, you can always click edit event. Edit event here. We'll talk about the different channels. We'll do that next here. Yeah. So I'm going to click out of this. I'm going to leave, and it will bring me back here. All right, so what we want to look at in this particular portion is scheduling an event. And so that is if you are tasked with scheduling a worship service coming up, you would click select event, Restream Studios. Again, I don't know what an RTMP is. Video file, that's a bit cumbersome because there's space issues and whatever. So Restream, what is the name of the live stream? Well, we're going to say live from Emmanuel, and let's just say June 5th. I'm just throwing it out there. Welcome to Emmanuel. For more information, visit us online at www.emmanuelmora.com. And if it is June 5th, click that, go to June 5th, date, or the time, I should say. Generally, I would say 10:25 a.m. Boom. Create an event on, don't click that. It's clicked on by default, but we really don't need to do that, because then it just makes a lot of events over the course of time on Facebook and YouTube, and we don't need to do that. If you have a graphic that goes with that particular worship service, you would just click replace. I don't have any graphics on this computer, so I'm not going to do that. You will click next. Now you see that we have 4 different channels here. We have 2 official Emmanuel ones. Those are the ones that go to our Facebook page and our YouTube page. And we have 2 dummy accounts. So we have one that is a Facebook person that doesn't exist, and we have a YouTube account that we really only use for testing and some certain video storage. So let me just talk about the differences here. On this one, you can see that it's black. This is the YouTube, so you can see the red play button there. So that is official there. Then down here, you can see it's Facebook. We're going to click that on. So if we were to do a Sunday morning live stream, these are the 2 that you would want. The Emmanuel Baptist Church Facebook, Emmanuel Baptist Church YouTube, and then you would create the event. Before I do that, though, I want to show you what those other ones look like. You can see here is another YouTube page, but this is the dummy account. This is EBC More Discipleship Resources. That is where you would do practicing live streaming, or that's where you would do the Sunday morning worship rehearsal, if you would even choose to be there for that. And this other one here, that's Bill Hildegard. He's an imposter. He doesn't exist. He is a created person that I made up on Facebook in order to do things like this, test out features. So on a Sunday morning, you will never, ever, 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 ever use these for the 10:30 worship service. You will only use the blue and the black, and who knows if we keep that color or that color. Just make sure you know it's Emmanuel Baptist Church Mora or Emmanuel Baptist Church down there. You have that set already. Click Create. And now let's say invite guests. No, you don't want to invite guests, because it's not like a Facebook thing where you invite people to come along to the event. This is if you want to have guest hosts that are on their webcam and talking like a podcast or something like that. We're not going to do that. So we're just going to click that. And you can see down here now we have live from Emmanuel, June 5th or whatever it is, so that when you log in, so that when you log in, it will be right there. I think that's everything that I need to cover. Let me just take a look at if there's anything else that I need to see from the manual, which I would recommend you looking over. You can refer to the Emmanuel Baptist Church Livestream Manual for some of the troubleshooting techniques, things like if the camera froze or it went black or the sound isn't going through the live stream. There's a number of things that you can do, so I encourage you to look over that. Other than that, that's how the live stream system works. I would recommend, if this is something you're interested in doing, getting a free account of Restream. We pay a subscription for ours, but there is a free account in which you can just play around with it. And that's the best thing that you can do, is to just play around. Or if you want to come here and play around without going live or going on the dummy accounts, that would be great. And certainly if you have questions, let us know. As I film this, it's about a week or so before I go on my sabbatical, so I won't be here for a couple months in the summer of 2023. But Pastor Dave will, and hopefully he can answer any questions. Or the other person that would be the most knowledgeable about this system is Josh Knowles. And so I would contact him as well, as he has a vast amount of experience with this. So I appreciate you joining me here on this live stream training. And I look forward to many, many great things being broadcast here from Emmanuel. So thank you, grace and peace.